Every hiker has their favorite habits or ideas that make their hiking more enjoyable. Today, I'm going to go over mine. As always, use your judgment about whether these fit your hiking style and will benefit you. So let's get started. My backpacking habit number 1. Well, first, have you ever been out on the trail and realized you forgot something important? You made a list before you left and you followed it, but somehow something always gets left behind. My memory is like a sieve, so I found a way to deal with this. Instead of making a list before a trip, I have a complete list of every piece of hiking gear I own. And I mean everything. I don't just list shelter because I have 3 different tents and a hammock. And I don't just list sleeping bag because I have 3 of those. The point is, when I go through my list, rather than relying on my lousy memory, I force myself to consider everything. Did I bring a dish but forget the utensils? Yeah, in the past I have, but not if it's on the list. Every decision of what to bring becomes a conscious choice, not a passive one. I'll not only remember to bring water treatment, I'll actively decide which is appropriate for this trip. A poncho or a rain suit, that's another conscious choice. So if you're good with spreadsheets, it's an excellent way to not only track everything you'll need, but you can use it to calculate your pack weight as well. And don't forget to put consumables like food and bug repellent and toilet paper on your list, even if you don't think of them as equipment. So for habit number 2, for first aid and hygiene kits, I keep a list of the contents in the kit. For me, that means under the lid, since I use old Gatorade powder containers for these. Before every trip, I refresh the kits for items like hand sanitizer, ibuprofen, Imodium, Band-Aids, whatever medications I might need to bring. That means I throw out the old medicines. I know Claritin is expensive. My wife's always yelling at me about it. But if it's been sitting in my first aid kit since last fall, I just replace it. And I always start with a new toothbrush. Otherwise, I'm just bringing along a science experiment from last year. My backpacking habit number 3. I have a packing system. I load my pack the same way each time. Now, I use very simple design Z-Packs Arc style packs, the kind that have an arch that keeps the pack off the back and provides airflow, cuts down on sweat. It's a very simple design. There's 2 side pockets, a back mesh, an interior, and some loops near the bottom outside to hold my tent. The side pockets, A here, are for items I want to access without having to stop and take off the pack, like my trash bag, reserve water, and snacks mostly. The back mesh, marked B, is for items I'll want immediate access to, but taking off the pack is no big deal. Things like bug spray, sunblock, rain gear, water filter, and toilet paper. I mean, you can guess why I want to take the pack off if I need some of those items. On the inside, where I've marked C and D on this photo here, the things I won't need until the evening, like my sleeping bag, are at the bottom. My camp clothes are next, along with my cooking gear. I pack in layers with my first aid kit and lunch near the top, marked C. There's an exception if I'm carrying a bear canister in my pack. It only fits at the bottom, so I just have to live with that. Any food I'll use during the day comes out of it. I once thought about putting other items in it to save space, but the danger is that other equipment like a sleeping bag could pick up food smells, and that's not a good idea in bear country where I hike. So my tent gets attached to the back through the loops made for this purpose. It's marked E. So if I arrive at camp in fall weather, I can set up my tent without exposing my backpack contents to the rain. I just don't have to open it. The point is, by doing it this way and thinking it through, my backpacking becomes much more routine. And it's the routine and small matters that allow me to enjoy the experience instead of fretting over finding my first aid kit in the dark. So habit number 4 is related to that packing one, is that I have a system for stuff sacks. I have a color-coded scheme. Blue stuff sack is for items related to water. Red is for camp clothes. Orange is for spare hiking clothes. Green is for cooking. A special bag my son bought me with our pictures on it is for my electronics like battery packs and recharging cables. Just pick a scheme that works for you. And Ziploc plastic bags are excellent for keeping things dry. I didn't even realize how useful they could be until I offered some spare bags I had to some other hikers, and it was like they had won the lottery. They gave me a lot of great ideas, like keeping used clothes in them during the day. It keeps the stink off the other equipment. Habit number 5. Speaking of stinky clothes, I have a clothesline for camp. I hang out all my unlaundered clothes. For me, that's my current daytime hiking clothes, plus any clothes that have already gone into my used pile. I carry 2 sets of clothes with me, and I just wear them for a few days and then switch them out. The more airing out, even items that I don't intend to put on again until they've been washed, the easier they are to clean. My habit number 6 is I charge all devices or I install fresh batteries in them before leaving for my hike. I calculate my power needs, and I'm sure that I know how much time I have, or I plan to ration appropriately. That means my tracker, so if you have one, be sure to charge it, your phone, your headlamp, and battery packs. And as I mentioned in an earlier video, on the trail, I set my watch to beep at me at 7:30 in the morning to remind me to start my tracker, whether I'm ready to leave camp or not. My habit number 7. I always set up my tent in the same configuration, like the same relative location for the door zipper so I don't need to fumble around trying to find it when I get up at night. I always keep my glasses, headlamp, phone, and watch in the same place inside the tent so I can find them in the dark. On cold nights, I keep electronics in a stuff sack inside the sleeping bag. That reduces cold-related battery drain. And I keep my water filter in a waterproof bag inside my sleeping bag to prevent it freezing, which would render it inoperable. I drink a lot of water at night, so I keep a cap bottle in the same relative spot. Happens to be right next to the door. Put it wherever you need it. My habit number 8 is I have protocols thought out ahead of time. If it's pouring out and all I have to eat is food that needs to be cooked, I may go hungry that night. So instead, I always have some ready-to-eat food in my supply. If it's raining, I'll leave my used clothes that I'm not going to wear again until they're cleaned. I leave them out on the clothesline in the rain, but anything I have to wear the next day comes inside my tent on a small line strung between the poles. And I even officially announced to myself, we're initiating rain protocol, which means not only eating cold food that night, but being prepared to pack up everything inside the tent with breaking camp. Habit number 9. Whenever I get new equipment, I practice with it. I bring it out in the yard if it's a tent or into the woods out back for a hammock before I leave on the hike, because you just can't expect to learn it out on the trail. And this applies to stoves, first aid kit, even a trowel. There's nothing worse than discovering that your trowel can't dig a proper cat hole on hard ground without breaking. Dig one in your yard or garden. And if you're really hardcore, try it out. Just don't get surprised by motion detecting floodlights in your yard. There's a bonus cooking tip here. I found that these long neck lighters, they don't work so well at altitudes that I experienced on the John Muir Trail. And that's not something I could test ahead of time. Unfortunately, my hiking partner on that trip had some spare regular lighters for me that did work at those altitudes. So these are just 9 of my mini habits that help me have a more predictable experience on the trail. And having a predictable experience on the little things that what makes it possible to enjoy the bigger things. So if you have any to add, please share them in the comments. If you appreciate this content, please like, share, subscribe, and comment on this or other topics you'd like me to cover. And if you haven't seen this video, please take a look at it now. Thanks for watching.